It was 3:30 in the afternoon. I stood in the shade of the fence surrounding Adventureland, watching my 6-year-old daughter, Maya, skip toward me. A flicker of panic lit up her big eyes. Daddy, the T-Rex ate Mommy. Her little face was tense as she pointed to a towering Tyrannosaurus Rex mascot not far away. I couldn't help but chuckle. Silly girl, that's just an actor in a costume. Don't worry, he's not going to hurt Mommy. No, Daddy, she insisted, tugging at my sleeve. I saw it. The T-Rex swallowed her in one big bite. I ruffled her hair, thinking how her imagination was starting to blossom. Okay, then Daddy will go rescue Mommy. You wait right here. I knelt down, making a solemn pact with her. The June sun was brutal, baking the asphalt until it shimmered with heat. I walked toward the ridiculously oversized, meticulously crafted T-Rex costume. It was the park's newest attraction, nearly 10 feet tall, big enough for 2 or 3 adults to move around inside. All the kids wanted a picture with it. I expected to find my wife, Chloe, posing for a photo with the actor, maybe chatting about the kids. But as I got closer, I saw the dinosaur's head was askew. Chloe, I called out. No response. I reached out and lifted off the T-Rex's head. For a second, my brain went blank. Inside the costume, my wife was locked in a passionate kiss with a stranger. Her legs were wrapped tightly around his waist, as if she were drowning in a sea of lust. My hand started to tremble. She must have heard my voice, because she shoved the man away abruptly. Ethan. Her voice was a panicked, shaky whisper. The man scrambled out of the costume, straightening his clothes. He looked about 27, 28, with a meticulously styled side part. I recognized him. He was the host of a corporate event a couple of months back. Before the show started, Chloe had specifically dragged me backstage to say hello, introducing him as some cousin of hers, Leo Vance. Thinking back, her enthusiasm, her insistence, it was all a performance to lower my guard. I am sorry. Chloe climbed out of the suit, her makeup smudged. I said nothing. A storm of emotions churned in my chest, making it hard to breathe. 15 years. From meeting in college to getting married and having Maya, we had spent 15 years together. When we first graduated, my salary was only enough to rent a cramped studio apartment. Chloe never complained. She packed me a lunch every single day, promising she'd stick with me while I built our future. I worked myself to the bone, clawing my way up the corporate ladder, all because I wanted to give her a better life. Now I had finally made it. I was the executive VP of a well-known tech firm. She no longer had to cram onto a crowded bus with me or pinch pennies at the grocery store. And this was my reward. She was cheating on me with a guy years younger than her. And she was doing it at our daughter's favorite theme park, inside a ridiculous dinosaur costume. Ethan, I know I was wrong. She reached for my hand. I took a step back, avoiding her touch. I should get going, Chloe, Leo Vance mumbled, then turned and walked away quickly. Coward. Daddy, is Mommy okay? Maya's voice called from a distance. I took a deep breath and turned toward my daughter. I couldn't lose control in front of her. She's fine, sweetie. Mommy's coming right over. I forced my voice to sound calm. Chloe followed behind me, whispering a constant stream of apologies. I drove Maya to her grandmother's house. On the way, Chloe sat in the passenger seat, stealing nervous glances at me. She knew how terrifying my silence could be. In the past, whenever I got this quiet, she'd break down in tears. But this time, behind the panic in her eyes, there was a heavy dose of guilt. After we dropped Maya off, I drove home. The whole way, she never stopped talking. Ethan, it was just a moment of weakness. I swear this was the first time. I really know I was wrong. I gripped the steering wheel, my knuckles turning white. Every word she spoke was like a knife twisting in my gut. Back at the house, she dropped to her knees in front of me, sobbing. Ethan, please forgive me this one time. I swear it will never happen again. I sat on the sofa, looking at the woman I had spent 15 years with. The gentle, loving wife from my memories had become a complete stranger. She was still wearing the dress I bought her. For our anniversary last year, she'd mentioned wanting it, and I'd swiped my credit card without a second thought. Seeing how happy it made her, I felt it was worth every penny. Now, I realized she had probably worn that dress for her little rendezvous with that pretty boy. You don't have to explain, I heard myself say. My voice was hoarse, as if it had been scorched by fire. Ethan, I'm tired. I need some space. I stood up and walked into my study. The moment the door clicked shut, I lost it. I slammed my fist into the wall. I heard the crack of bone, but it couldn't drown out the pain in my heart. The next morning, I called my office and told them I was taking a week off. My assistant, Kevin, was shocked. He'd been with me for 5 years and had never seen me take a sick day. I'd run meetings with a 104-degree fever and a 4 drip in my arm. I threw a few things in a bag, ready to leave. Chloe was waiting by the front door. Her eyes were red and swollen. She clearly hadn't slept. Ethan, where are you going? To clear my head. Can I come with you? Please. She looked at me pitifully. I want to talk this through. I shook my head. Right now, the sight of you makes me sick. Her tears started flowing again. It used to break my heart to see her cry. Now all I felt was disgust. I drove to a hotel on the outskirts of the city. Lying on the bed, I started scrolling through the photos on my phone. Every one was of the three of us. We took so many pictures the year Maya was born. Chloe was still recovering from childbirth, but she was beautiful even without makeup. She'd hold our daughter and smile like a kid herself. I swiped further back to our wedding photos. She looked like a princess in her white dress. I remember my hands shaking so badly, I was afraid I'd put the ring on crooked. The oldest pictures were from college. I was wearing cheap clothes from a discount store, but she looked at me like I was the most handsome man in the world. We ate together in the dining hall, studied together in the library, walked together across the quad. Her smile was always so sweet. Back then, I promised myself I would spend my life making sure she had everything she wanted. Now, she had destroyed it all. Every memory that once moved me now felt like a cruel joke. I shut off my phone and opened my laptop. I started digging into Leo Vance. The guy was 28, a C-list celebrity. Besides hosting gigs, he occasionally landed a bit part in some low-budget streaming series. He had 200,000 followers on Instagram, where he constantly posted workout selfies and showed off designer bags and watches. I let out a cold laugh. All bought and paid for with someone else's money, I was sure. I looked up his upcoming schedule. He was supposed to host the opening ceremony for a brand launch later this month. I noted the time and place, then shut the laptop. For the next few days, I stayed in the hotel and drank. Every time I got drunk, I dreamed of Chloe. In my dreams, she was still that vibrant college girl, smiling and calling my name. But when I woke up, the only thing I could remember was the image of her tangled up with that man inside a dinosaur costume. My phone was filled with missed calls and texts from her. I didn't answer a single one. I needed time to think. On the fifth day, my mother called. Ethan, what's going on? Chloe said you haven't been home in days. Mom, I'm on a business trip. Don't lie to me. My mother's voice turned stern. Your assistant said you took the week off. Did you and Chloe have a fight? She's been crying nonstop, and it breaks my heart to see her like this. I didn't say anything. Whatever it is, you need to talk it out. Don't give each other the silent treatment. You're grown adults. Stop acting like children. I know, Mom. After hanging up, I stood by the window, staring into space. Chloe was good at playing the part. For years, she had my parents wrapped around her little finger. They were always telling people how thoughtful and wonderful their daughter-in-law was. I opened my phone and read her texts. Ethan, I'm so sorry. I know I messed up. Please come home. You don't have to forgive me. Just let me explain in person. I am sorry. I don't deserve you. I scoffed at the last one. On that, at least she was right. She really didn't. A week later, I went home. Chloe was in the kitchen, making stew. When she heard the door open, she rushed out to hug me. I sidestepped her and went straight upstairs. Ethan, I made your favorite stew, she called from the bottom of the stairs. You've lost weight. Please, come eat something. I went into my study and opened the safe. Inside were our marriage certificate and other important documents. I took out the certificate, tossed it on the coffee table, and handed her a folder. Take a look. Let me know if you have any issues. She opened it, and her face went pale. It was a divorce agreement. Ethan, her hands were trembling. Please don't do this. If you have any objections, we can have my lawyer amend it, I said, my voice flat. The house and the cars are mine. You get 10% of our savings. You'll have custody of Maya, and I'll pay child support every month. No. She threw the papers on the floor. I don't want a divorce. Why not? I sneered. I thought you liked young, handsome men. You'll be free. You got it all wrong. She wrapped her arms around my waist, tears streaming down her face. There was nothing between us. That day was just a stupid impulse. A stupid impulse? I grabbed her wrist and threw her off me. So you think making out with another man inside a T-Rex costume at a theme park is just a normal thing to do? No. She fell to her knees. I know I was wrong. Hit me, scream at me, do whatever you want, just don't divorce me. I looked down at her. She was in the exact same position she'd been in when she proposed to me. She had just finished grad school, and I just started my first corporate job. She wanted to surprise me, so she decorated our favorite spot in the park with balloons and roses. Then she got down on one knee, her face flushed, and asked, Ethan Miller, will you marry me? I was so moved I couldn't speak. I just picked her up and spun her around and around. Seeing her in that pose now was just sickeningly ironic. Please, Ethan. She clung to my leg. Give me one more chance. A chance? I said coldly. You threw your chance away. She tried to say something else, but I had already turned and headed for the stairs. The agreement is on the table. Sign it when you're done reading. That night, I slept in the guest room, listening to the muffled sobs coming from our bedroom. I closed my eyes, but the image from that day flashed in my mind again. Inside the costume, she had her arms wrapped around Leo's neck. His hands roamed her waist, and not only did she not push him away, she wrapped her legs around him even tighter. My fist clenched so hard my knuckles cracked. The next day, I went through the security camera footage from our house for the past 6 months. Chloe often said she was going shopping or meeting a friend for coffee. She always left the house meticulously dressed and made up. Sometimes she'd be gone all day. Now I wondered, was she meeting that pretty boy every time? I pulled her call logs. The time she spent on the phone with Leo Vance was more than the time she spent talking to me. Sometimes, late at night, she'd sneak downstairs to make a call. Then I checked her bank statements. For the last 6 months, she'd been consistently transferring the household money I gave her to a separate account, probably to buy her boy toy designer bags and watches. The more I looked, the angrier I got. Chloe stayed in the living room, watching me. "Go ahead and look, Ethan," she said through her tears. "I swear, nothing happened between me and Leo. That was the first time, and you showed up before anything could." I shot her an icy glare. "So you're saying that if I hadn't shown up, you two would have finished the job right there in the T-Rex costume?" She froze, fresh tears spilling from her eyes. "No, I wasn't thinking." "Then what were you thinking about?" I scoffed. "About how you were going to cheat on me?" She threw herself at me. "Ethan, I was wrong. I really was. Please don't talk to me like that." I shoved her away. Disgusting. The word hit her like a physical blow. She collapsed on the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. I ignored her and kept digging. A part of me wanted to just strangle her, but it wasn't worth it. A woman like her deserved to live a life worse than death. For the next week, I went to work and attended meetings as if nothing had happened. Chloe tried desperately to win me back. She cooked for me, gave me massages, laid out my clothes. I could feel her anxiety, her fear. She knew this calm was the prelude to a storm. That weekend, I attended a brand launch event. Leo Vance was the host. When he saw me, he froze for a second before plastering on a standard media smile. "Mr. Miller, good to see you." I smiled back and returned the greeting. Halfway through the event, I excused myself to the restroom. I ran into him in a deserted hallway corner. "Mr. Miller," he said, head down trying to slip past me. I stopped him. "Mr. Vance," I said conversationally. "Tell me, is it a tight squeeze for 2 people inside one of those T-Rex costumes?" The color drained from his face. Before he could answer, I continued, "I hope in the future, you'll remember to keep your hands off other men's wives." I patted him on the shoulder. He looked like a cornered animal and practically ran away. When I got home, Chloe was waiting up for me. "Ethan, where were you today?" I looked at her feigned concern and said suddenly, "I was at a brand event. I saw Leo Vance." Her body visibly tensed. Did you talk to him?" "Not really, just small talk." I smiled. He seemed a little spooked. Her face turned pale. "Ethan, please don't go after him. This was my fault." You seem worried about him," I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm. "No, it's not that. I just..." "Relax," I cut her off. "I'm not going to do anything to him. After all, he's just a nobody. It would be beneath me, a VP at a major corporation, to bother with him." She looked relieved. So, she really did care about the boy toy. "Go to bed." I waved a dismissive hand and went upstairs, shutting the door behind me. I opened my laptop and stared at a photo of Leo Vance. He had a smile as bright as the sun. "You like to play games, do you?" That night, I set my plan in motion. First, I had my PR team quietly dig up every bit of dirt they could find on Leo Vance. The kid looked clean on the surface, but his private life was a cesspool. Preying on college students, threatening fans, throwing tantrums, and abusing production staff. Most importantly, he had a benefactor, a wealthy woman in her 40s, the CEO of a cosmetics company. All of Leo's opportunities came from her pulling strings. I sneered. So he was good at living off women. The next day, I got a text message. It was from Leo. "Mr. Miller, please, leave me alone. I'll never do it again." I didn't reply. A moment later, another one came through. "Whatever you want, I can pay. I'll go get the money now." I blocked his number. This piece of trash thought he could buy his way out of this. When I got home that evening, Chloe was waiting by the door again. She had lost weight, and she looked exhausted. "Ethan, have you eaten?" "I made some soup." I walked past her and went upstairs. She followed me. "Please don't be like this. Yell at me, hit me, whatever you want, just don't ignore me. Why don't you ask your little boyfriend?" I stopped on the stairs. He begged me to let him off the hook today. Even offered me money. "How much do you think I should ask for?" She froze. "What? What money?" "Compensation." I turned, a humorless smile on my face. "What do you think a wife is worth these days?" Tears welled in her eyes. Ethan, please don't say that. I know I was wrong. You know you were wrong? I laughed coldly. So what? I should just forgive you? Go back to being your perfect husband? I regret it so much. She grabbed my arm. I'll do anything. Just please don't divorce me. I shook her off. You're right. You'll do anything I say. A glimmer of hope appeared in her eyes. Then go kill yourself, I said, enunciating every word. She looked as if she'd been struck by lightning and collapsed onto the floor. I turned, walked into my study, and slammed the door. The next day after work, I didn't go straight home. I took a file with me to a quiet cafe. A few minutes later, an elegantly dressed, middle-aged woman walked in. It was Leo's benefactor, Suzanne Richter. Mr. Miller, I've heard a lot about you, she said, taking a seat across from me. I slid the file toward her. Ms. Richter, please take a look. She opened it, and her expression slowly soured. It was filled with all of Leo's dirty secrets, including intimate photos of the two of them. What is the meaning of this, Mr. Miller? She asked, her voice trembling slightly as she closed the file. Nothing. I took a sip of my coffee. I just wanted to have a chat with you about Leo Vance. What do you want? What do I want? I sneered. He was sleeping with my wife. What do you think I want? Her face grew even darker. He was with your wife. What? He didn't tell you. I took out my phone and played a short video clip. It was them in the T-Rex costume. I had someone pull the park security footage. Suzanne's hand was shaking. That son of a bitch. So, Ms. Richter, what do you think should be done? She gritted her teeth. Don't you worry. I'll take care of him. That's not enough, I said, putting my phone away. I want him to be completely unemployable in this industry. She was silent for a moment, then nodded. I understand. As I left the cafe, I checked my watch. 7 p.m. Chloe would be at home waiting for me. Every night for the past week, she'd cooked a full dinner and waited. I never touched a bite. Sometimes she'd sit at the table and cry until she fell asleep. The next morning, the food would still be there, cold and untouched. Sure enough, when I got home, she was pacing in the living room. Ethan, where have you been? She asked timidly. Working. Did you eat? Yes. A look of disappointment crossed her face. I made your favorite pot roast. Throw it out, I said without a glance. I have no appetite for anything you make. I heard her start to cry as I walked away. I ignored it and went upstairs to take a shower. The next day, the scandal surrounding Leo Vance exploded. Audio recordings and videos of him coercing a college student were leaked online. Then, someone else came forward with stories of him verbally abusing production assistants. The internet went into a frenzy. Leo's PR team issued a statement claiming it was all slander. That only opened the floodgates. More people came forward, accusing him of using his benefactor's influence to bully everyone around him. Someone even exposed his relationship with Suzanne Richter, posting dozens of intimate photos online. Overnight, he became a public pariah. His endorsements were dropped. His gigs were canceled. His talent agency terminated his contract immediately. The once glamorous rising star was now a social leper. Soon after, Leo posted an apology. He said he was young and reckless and had made many mistakes. He begged the public for a chance to change. The comment section was a torrent of hate. I watched it all unfold with a cold, satisfied smirk. This was just the beginning. That night, I came home to find Chloe crying on the sofa. You've been crying a lot lately, I said flatly. She looked up. Ethan, are you doing this? Are you getting revenge? Revenge for what? Leo's career. She bit her lip. Did you do this? I laughed. You seem very concerned about him. No. She shook her head frantically. It's just, don't worry. This is only the beginning. I looked down at her. You like him so much, don't you? Then you get to watch him burn, step by step. She scrambled over and hugged my legs. Ethan, please let him go. This is my fault. Punish me instead. I kick her away. You're right. This is your fault. So don't think for a second you're getting off easy. She knelt on the floor, weeping. You should be grateful I'm letting you live. The next day, Suzanne Richter issued a public statement severing all ties with Leo Vance. She claimed she was merely an investor in some of his projects. Then she leaked even more damaging material. I heard Leo had been calling her nonstop, begging for mercy, but she was determined to destroy him. After all, no woman likes being cheated on by her boy toy. In the aftermath, all of Leo's professional resources dried up. The people who once championed him now wouldn't even take his calls. I had my people quietly put the word out. Anyone who hired him would have to answer to me. A C-list celebrity like him was a nobody in the grand scheme of things. I could erase him with a single phone call. A week later, Leo posted one last thing on his Instagram. A single word, sorry. Then his account went silent. I heard he'd gone back to his hometown to hide. Chloe was a wreck. She cried every day. She clearly never imagined my revenge would be so methodical, so complete. But this wasn't enough. I wanted her to taste the same living death she had put me through. I came home one day to find her packing a suitcase. "Where do you think you're going?" I asked. She looked at me. I was going to stay with my parents for a few days. "Don't bother." I walked over and started pulling her clothes out of the suitcase. "You're not going anywhere." "Why?" she asked, her eyes red. "You hate me so much. Why won't you let me leave?" "Because I want you here to watch," I said, grabbing her chin. "I want you to watch how I destroy your little lover." She whimpered, shaking her head. "Don't. Please, let him go. You care about him that much?" I tightened my grip. "Go on, say it. Are you in love with him?" "No." Tears streamed down her face from the pain. "It was a mistake. I love you." I laughed coldly. "Do you? Then why didn't you beg Leo to leave me alone?" She froze. "Do you have any idea," I said, my voice low and dangerous, "that when I saw you two in that costume, I wanted to tear you both apart? 15 years of my life gone, destroyed by you." She sobbed. "Ethan, I'm sorry. I really know I was wrong. If sorry fixed everything, we wouldn't need laws," I said, releasing her. "You made your bed. Now lie in it." I went upstairs and slammed the door, leaving her to cry on the floor below. That night, I had a dream. In it, Chloe was still the vibrant college girl in a white sundress, smiling sweetly at me. "Ethan, do you think we'll be together forever?" "Of course," I said. "I'm never letting you go." She threw her arms around me. "You have to promise." I woke up to a wet pillow. I hated myself for being so weak. Even after everything, I could still remember the good times. The next day, I received an email from the private investigator I'd hired. It was a detailed report of Chloe's movements for the last 6 months. She met with Leo Vance almost every week, sometimes at a coffee shop, sometimes at the mall, and sometimes at a hotel. My hand started shaking. There were photos. She was wearing a dress I'd bought her, following Leo into the lobby of a hotel. They stayed for the entire afternoon. I smashed my laptop against the wall. That bitch. She had the audacity to lie to my face, to tell me it was a one-time impulse. She'd been sneaking around with him for months. When I got home that evening, I threw the printed photos in her face. "Explain this." She looked at the pictures, and her entire body went rigid. It's not what you think." "Then what is it?" I sneered. "Did you go to a hotel to have a book club meeting?" She dropped to her knees. "I am sorry." "I'm so sorry. Is that the only thing you know how to say?" I grabbed a fistful of her hair and yanked her to her feet. "You cheating bitch, I ought to kill you." She cried out in pain. "Ethan, let me explain." "Explain what?" I threw her to the floor. "Explain how you were screwing another man behind my back." She buried her face in her hands. "We didn't do anything. We just talked." "You need a hotel room to talk." I laughed, a harsh, ugly sound. "Do you think I'm an idiot? It's true." She scrambled toward me, grabbing my leg. "I swear I never slept with him." I kick her away. "Do you really think your promises mean anything anymore?" She crawled back. "Ethan, hit me, scream at me, I don't care. I know I was wrong." I looked down at her pathetic display and suddenly started to laugh. "All right." She paused. "What? You want me to hit you, right?" I looked down at her. "Then get on your knees and slap yourself." She bit her lip, then raised a trembling hand and slapped her own face. "Louder," I commanded. "I want the whole neighborhood to hear it." She struck herself again, harder this time, her cheek turning red and swollen. "And you have a nerve to say you love me," I sneered. "Once a whore, always a whore." She dissolved into tears. "Ethan, I do love you. I just made a stupid mistake." "Shut up," I roared. "If you loved me, you never would have done this." She lay crumpled on the floor, sobbing. I turned and went upstairs, slamming the door behind me. That night, she cried downstairs until the sun came up. The next morning, her eyes were swollen shut, a fresh handprint still visible on her cheek. When she saw me coming downstairs, she immediately knelt again. "Ethan, get out of my way." She wouldn't give up. "I really know I was wrong. Please, just give me one more chance." I looked at her. "You know what? The sight of you makes me physically ill." Fresh tears streamed down her face. "Are you done crying?" I asked coldly. "It won't work. I will never forgive you." "Then why won't you divorce me?" She looked up at me. "Why are you torturing me like this?" "Because I want you to live in hell," I said, enunciating every word. "The same hell you put me in." "Then just kill me," she begged. "Kill me, and it'll be over. I don't want anything." "You think your death would make me feel better?" I knelt, looking her right in the eye. "Death would be too easy for you." She trembled uncontrollably. "Don't worry, I won't let you die," I said, standing up. "You're going to stay alive and watch how I ruin both of you." I walked out the door and went to work. On the way, I got a call from a P.I. He said Leo had been trying to contact Suzanne Richter, begging her to give him another chance. I laughed. "A little too late for that. wasn't it? When I got home, Chloe was scrubbing the floor. The moment she saw me, she knelt. Ethan, you really like kneeling, don't you? I sneered. Why don't you go kneel for your boy toy? She shook her head, crying. Don't say that. I know I was wrong. Wrong. I looked at her. Do you even know what you did wrong? I shouldn't have betrayed you. She sobbed. I failed you. You failed more than just me. I crouched down. What about the little girl who calls you mommy? She froze. Did you know, I continued, my voice dripping with venom, that on that day, she literally thought you'd been eaten by a T-Rex? How ironic. While you were in a costume getting felled up by some random guy, your daughter was terrified for your safety. She covered her face, her shoulders shaking with sobs. I am sorry. I'm so sorry. When you say you're sorry, do you ever think about her? I grabbed her wrist. She trusted you. She looked up to you. And this is how you repay her. She was crying so hard she could barely breathe. You're a disgrace, I said, pushing her away. You don't even deserve to be a mother. She curled into a ball on the floor, weeping like a lost child. I went upstairs and shut the door, listening to her repeating I'm sorry over and over again. That night, I had another nightmare. I dreamed of Chloe and Leo in the T-Rex costume. I was running toward them, trying to tear them apart, but my legs were stuck in mud. I woke up drenched in cold sweat. It was the same dream I'd had 100 times. And every time, it drove me closer to the edge. A month later, things took a turn. I received a text from Leo's former agent. He said Leo was in a bad way, constantly drunk. He'd apparently caused a scene at a bar, threatening to expose secrets about others in the industry. I scoffed. A corner dog, doing nothing but barking. A couple of days later, he managed to get in touch with Chloe. He called her while I was out, saying he needed to see her one last time. If I hadn't installed monitoring software on her phone, I never would have known what the bastard was planning. She didn't dare answer his calls. But every time his name lit up her screen, she would cry quietly to herself. I knew she felt sorry for him. The woman was truly rotten to the core. I came home from work one evening to find her packing up Maya's old toys. When she saw me, she shot to her feet. Ethan, what are you doing? I was going to donate these to a charity, she said, her head bowed. Maya said she's too big for them now. I looked at the toys scattered on the floor. I had bought several of them myself. Among them was a small T-Rex. Maya had begged me for it on her last birthday. She'd just seen Jurassic Park and thought they were the coolest things ever. Now, the sight of that toy just made me sick. Fina, get rid of them, I said, turning for the stairs. They're an eyesore. Ethan, she said softly behind me. Are you still angry? I stopped. What do you think? I know I was wrong. Her voice was thick with tears. Can you please just give me one more chance? I turned around. A chance? Do you deserve one? She fell to her knees. Ethan, hit me, yell at me, I don't care. Just don't treat me like this. And how do you want me to treat you? I sneered. Like I used to? Spoil you? Pamper you? Give you another opportunity to go find another man? I won't. She hugged my legs. I swear I'll never do it again. Your promises are worth less than the air you speak them on, I said, kicking her away. You think I'd ever believe a single word out of a cheating whore's mouth? She collapsed on the floor, sobbing. I ignored her and went upstairs. The next morning, I got a message. Leo had gotten drunk again last night. He was screaming in a bar that he was going to kill me. I laughed coldly. A loser like him didn't have the guts. Around noon, my mother-in-law called. She said Chloe had shown up at her house in tears. She asked if we'd had a fight. It's nothing, I said flatly. She's just being dramatic. Don't be so hard on her, my mother-in-law sighed. Chloe's lost so much weight. You need to take better care of her. I hung up and sent Chloe a text. Get your ass back here. Now. It wasn't long before she returned. The moment she walked in, she knelt before me. Etan, I am sorry. I just wanted to see my parents. See your parents? I sneered. Or were you planning on moving back in with them? No. She explained frantically. Forget about it, I said, looking down at her. You're not going anywhere unless I say so. She bit her lip. How long are you going to keep me locked up like this? Until I feel like letting you go. And when will you forgive me? She cried. I was silent for a moment. The day you die. A shudder ran through her entire body. Do you know, I knelt down, staring into her eyes, that I have nightmares every single night? I dream about you too in that costume. Stop it. She covered her ears. Why should I? I pulled her hands away. You seem to be having a good time. When you wrapped your legs around his waist, did you think of me for even a second? She was sobbing uncontrollably. I am sorry. I am sorry. Your apologies are like a knife stabbing me over and over again, I said, letting her go. But even that is nothing compared to the pain you've caused me. Her crying intensified. I turned and went upstairs. You brought this on yourself. That night, I got a call from a bar owner. He said Leo was drunk and causing trouble again, screaming that he was going to kill me. Let him sober up, I said and hung up. I opened my laptop and pulled up the latest surveillance on Leo. The guy was spending every waking moment in a bar. Sometimes he'd just stare at a picture of me on his phone and curse. Pathetic and laughable. The next morning, Chloe knocked on my door. Ethan, can you please just let Leo go? I opened the door and stared at her coldly. Worried about him. She looked down. No, I just think he's suffered enough. Suffered enough? I sneered. So you think I'm going too far? I didn't say that. Yes, you did. I grabbed her chin. You feel sorry for him, don't you? You think this is all my fault. Tears welled in her eyes from the pain. No, it's all my fault. Since you know it's your fault, shut your mouth, I said, releasing her. Or I'll deal with you both. She stumbled back, terrified. I slammed the door and called my P. Keep a close eye on Leo. Don't let him do anything stupid. Don't worry, Mr. Miller, he said. We're on him. After I hung up, another text came in. It was from Leo's old agent. He said Leo had completely lost it, like he was a different person. All he talked about was getting revenge on me. I scoffed, as if he had what it takes. When I got home, Chloe was busy in the kitchen. She saw me and immediately brought out a bowl of noodles. Ethan, please eat something. I didn't even look at it. Throw it out. Please, just one bite. She begged, her eyes red. You've gotten so thin. Oh, you've noticed? I laughed. Why aren't you this concerned about your little boyfriend? I hear he's not doing so well. She bit her lip. I'm not concerned about him. Aren't you? I looked at her. Then why did you ask me to let him go? You just what? I cornered her against the counter. Go on, say it. Are you still in love with him? No. She shook her head. I love you. Love me? I sneered. If you really loved me, you never would have done this. She sank to the floor. I am sorry. I really know I was wrong. I'm tired of your apologies, I said, turning to go upstairs. Sit here and think about what you did. A week later, a package arrived for me. It was a letter from Leo. Mr. Miller, I'm sorry. I know what I did was wrong. But please, can you just let me go? I have nothing left. I tore the letter into tiny pieces. That piece of trash didn't have a right to even write to me. When I got home from work, Chloe was waiting in the living room. Ethan, she said cautiously, I need to talk to you. Talk. I want to go see Maya. No. Why? Her eyes welled up. I'm her mother. Mother? I sneered. Are you fit to be a mother? She dropped to her knees. Please, just let me see her. Why do you have to see her? I looked down at her. What am I supposed to tell her? That her mother is a worthless slut. She broke down completely. Don't say that. I know I was wrong. If you know you were wrong, then you'll stay right here, I said, heading for the stairs. You are never going to see her again. After I shut the door, I could hear her crying downstairs like a heartbroken child. I laughed to myself. So now you feel the pain? Why didn't you think about the consequences when you were having fun in that T-Rex costume? The next morning, I got a call from a P. Leo had gotten drunk again last night, screaming and crying at the bar that he was going to kill himself just to spite me. Let him, I said coldly. He's useless anyway. I hung up and opened my laptop, reviewing the latest files I collected. Leo was finished. No contacts, no resources. He'd even sold his apartment. He spent his days drinking himself into oblivion. He brought this on himself. Around noon, Chloe knocked on my door again. Ethan, have you eaten? Get lost. I made you some soup. Her voice cracked. Please, just try a little. I wrenched the door open. Are you a masochist? She froze. I've made myself perfectly clear, and you still keep pushing? I sneered. You think this is going to make me forgive you? She knelt. Ethan, I know I was wrong. Hit me, yell at me, do whatever you want. You really like getting hit, don't you? I crouched down to her level. Why don't you go find your little boyfriend? He probably needs a punching bag right about now. She shook her head, tears streaming down her face. Don't say that. I just want to make it up to you. Make it up to me. I laughed. With what? Your body? Sorry, it's already tainted. She covered her face and sobbed. I turned and slammed the door. That night, the bar owner called again. Leo was back. This time, he had a knife. He was screaming that he was going to kill me. Call the cops, I said. Let him rot in his cell. I hung up and opened the window. A heavy rain was falling outside. The sound was loud, but I could still hear the crying from downstairs. Chloe again. Is that all this woman could do? I smirked. Let her cry. The more miserable she was, the better I felt. The next morning, I got a text. Leo had been arrested. Drunk and disorderly conduct, plus threatening to commit murder. The police had him in custody. I call my P. Get a lawyer. I want to press arrested. Drunk and disorderly conduct, plus threatening to commit murder. The police had him in custody. I call my P. Get a lawyer. I want to press charges for making terroristic threats. You got it, Mr. Miller, he said. But the guy's life is already ruined. It's not ruined enough, I said. I want him to have a nice, long time to think about what he did in prison. I hung up and looked out the window. It was still raining. Chloe had fallen asleep curled up on the sofa. Her eyes were red and puffy. I walked over and looked down at her. There was a time when her tears were my greatest weakness. I would have given her the world to make them stop. Now all I wanted was to see her in agony. Suddenly, she mumbled in her sleep, "Ethan, I'm sorry." I sneered, apologizing even in her dreams. Did she really think that would change anything? The doorbell rang. It was my mother-in-law. "Mom," I said. "Where's Chloe?" she asked, peering inside. "Sleeping." "That poor girl," she sighed. "She looks like a skeleton. What on earth is going on between you two?" I remained silent. "I know married couples have their problems," she said, taking my hand. "But for Maya's sake, you have to be the bigger person. Chloe's always been sensitive. You're the most important person in the world to her." I almost laughed. I was so important to her that she betrayed me. Seeing my silence, my mother-in-law sighed again. "Well, I just wanted to check on her. I know better than to get involved in your business." She walked in and saw Chloe on the sofa. "Oh, honey," she said, stroking her daughter's face. "You've gotten so thin." I went upstairs. I couldn't stand to watch their phony mother-daughter melodrama. That night, after her mother left, Chloe knelt before me. "Ethan, my mom said I should come stay with her for a few days." "Don't you dare," I said coldly. "Why?" she cried. "You hate me. Why won't you just let me go?" "Because I want you to live in hell." I crouched down, meeting her gaze. "The same hell you put me in." She was trembling. "How long are you going to keep me here?" "Until I decide I'm done with you." She bit her lip. "You're never going to forgive me, are you? What do you think?" Suddenly, she scrambled to her feet and ran toward the kitchen. I caught her just before she reached the knife block. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" I want to die," she sobbed. "Let me go. Just let me die." "You think dying is the end of it?" I threw her to the ground. "Death will be too easy for you." She curled up on the floor, weeping. I looked at her with pure contempt. "Stay alive, and watch how I destroy your little boyfriend." I went upstairs and shut the door, leaving her to her heart-wrenching sobs. In the middle of the night, my phone woke me. It was the police. Leo Vance had tried to hang himself in his holding cell. A guard found him, and he was rushed to the hospital. They were trying to resuscitate him. I sneered. The coward. Couldn't even get killing himself right. The next morning, Chloe knocked on my door. "Ethan, Leo, What?" Feeling sorry for him. I opened the door, my expression like ice. She knelt. "Please, just let him go. He's suffered enough. You're really worried about him, aren't you?" I knelt down and grabbed her chin. "Why don't you go join him?" Tears streamed down her face from the pain. "No. You just what?" I tightened my grip. "Go on, say it. You're still in love with him, aren't you?" "No." She shook her head. "I love you." "Is that so?" I sneered. "Then why don't you go die for me?" Her body went rigid. "What? No taques." I let her go. "Then shut your mouth. If you want to beg for his life, you'd better ask yourself if you're even worthy." She collapsed on the floor, a sobbing mess. I turned and closed the door. "Enjoy the feeling. This is just the beginning." A month later, Leo Vance escaped from the hospital. He got a knife and broke into Chloe's parents' house. He was screaming that he was going to kill Chloe. That was all her fault. That if she hadn't seduced him, none of this would have happened. In the end, he stabbed her 17 times. She was dead at the scene. Leo Vance was shot and killed by police on site. I was in a board meeting when I got the news. Hearing it, I just smiled faintly. "Meeting's adjourned," I said. When I got home, the house was empty. It felt strange. For so long, this place had been filled with her presence. Now, there was only a dead silence. But it was good. Much cleaner this way. I opened the safe. Our wedding photo was still inside. In the picture, she was wearing her white wedding dress, her smile radiant. I gave a cold laugh. Then, I tore it to shreds and threw the pieces in the trash. A new life was beginning.